Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, I have a watch YouTube channel. I'm wearing a Seiko SBDC 125, and two things on my mind today. One, as you know, I love watches, I obsess over watches, and I'm going to be really upset if watches are just a fashion thing. As you guys know, there are people on YouTube who are what we call influencers. You know, they might have some kind of fashion line or other, and they talk about fashion. And when I look at my watch obsessive behavior and your watch obsessive behavior, it's beyond fashion. It's something else. We're going to have to get to the bottom of it in 2021. I think it's a bit, I don't think it can be reduced in one video. It's going to be something I'm going to have to tackle. I mean, I've thought about it on this channel over the years, and it's weird. Here I am, you know, 5-6 years later into this channel, and I don't think I get it. I think I know nothing, and I'm going to try to figure some stuff out in 2021. The other thing I've been thinking about is I watch some YouTube channels, mostly nutrition, exercise, and watches, technology. I have a real thing for laptop computers. I have an Acer 500. It's not the Nitro, it's the one above that. It's above the Helios. And you know, it's 32 gigs of RAM. I'll probably keep it for another couple years before I get a new laptop, because it's so loaded and everything. So one thing I noticed though is that the YouTubers that I watch, they're all at least 20 years younger than I am, maybe 25 years younger. Unbox Therapy, what does he have? 100 million subscribers. Lou from Canada. I love his channel. Not only do I watch his YouTube videos, I subscribe to his podcast. And you know, Mark Wildman, Kettlebells, he's probably what, in his 30s. And so I've been thinking to myself, is YouTube a young man's game? And the answer is yes, of course it is, because I just think it's human nature to be drawn to young people. I think they're still growing, they still have possibilities. I think young people are more in touch with the cultural zeitgeist than older people. My daughters know things in the culture and language that I don't know. My daughters, who are going to be 11 in a couple months, I have twins, they speak a language I don't understand. My daughters know how to use my they don't have a smartphone. They know how to use my smartphone better than I do. I have some kind of like a Samsung Galaxy Note something. I think I have the 9th one, and they know how to use my YouTube stuff. You know, I have a ring light behind this. I don't know if it's helping or not. And so young people know how to use the technology. They speak the language. It is a young man's game. Now, does this mean that if you're an older person, you should curl up and just die and give up? No, of course not. You know, one of the most relevant people of my life, I'm upset because he ended his life. His name is Anthony Bourdain. I think he was about 61 when he ended his life, but he was very relevant to me. He was himself. He had a voice, and I loved his writing voice, his speaking voice. I loved his attitude. I loved his point of view. I had no idea that the demons he was dealing with were what they were, but regardless of your age, you shouldn't give up. You should accept that YouTube is pretty much a young man's game. But what I would say, if you're of my generation, and I'm 59, I turned 59 October 28th. I was born in 61. The first thing I think you need to do, I think you need to always accept your age. Don't try to contrive a youthful persona. Don't try to be something you're not. And when I think about this, I'm haunted by this image. 1990, I was in a club in Bakersfield with my best friend. He was a soccer coach. He was from London. And he pointed some dude out in the club. And I guess he knew the dude from, I don't know, but the dude was recently divorced. He was 50. He had his hair weaved, and he had like a spike thing going on, and he had like hipster earrings, and he had black Dacron flashy outfit and beads, or I don't know, man. And I'm looking at the dude, and my friend, we were kind of like scoffing at him, laughing at him. But what I remember was not cool, not hip, not good look. What I thought was desperate, Count Dracula looking for the blood of the young. And I never wanted to be that dude. I never wanted to wear a watch that was an affectation of trying to be something I'm not. And I always felt that in life, as soon as you're trying to be something you're not, there's an implicit message that you're projecting, and I would say it's shame and self-loathing. And I think people either consciously or unconsciously pick that up. So always embrace who you are. I mean, if you have a YouTube channel, people are inundated with BS every day. Be authentic. So be who you are. I think that's a huge part of having a YouTube channel. Accept that it's a young man's game. Don't give up. Just be who you are. Rule number 2. You're only irrelevant if you believe you're irrelevant. And so people say, well, what does it mean to be relevant? Well, to me, if you're a human being, you're afforded a certain dignity in life. That's just, to me, a basic human value. And I think you have the opportunity to be relevant in this world under 2 conditions. One, you need to be healthy. You need to be physically healthy. I mean, if you're not healthy, you can't do squat. So number 1, always focus on your health. Don't smoke and do self-destructive stuff. I don't think sitting in front of social media all day in your bathrobe and eating Hot Pockets is the best healthy move either. So always work on your health. Number 2, you need to be engaged with something meaningful. I think we've all suffered from depression in our lives, and I think to some degree having some depression is a natural cycle. And what I think we can agree on is this: when we're depressed, one of the things that characterizes depression is that we can't get engaged with anything. We're not interested in watching a movie, sitting through a TV show. We can't read any book. We can't engage in a creative project. We need to consistently engage with something. Otherwise, we're going to just be navel gazers. And we don't want to be navel gazers. We don't want to be depressed. We don't want to be fashion navel gazers. We don't want our watches to be part of navel gazing, or whatever it is our hobby is. So it's important to remember that you're only irrelevant if you believe you are. And so my 3rd rule, if you're producing content for YouTube or in this social media ecosystem, my 3rd rule that I wrote some notes down on here is that regardless of your age, I don't know why that skipped me. Regardless of your age, you're a storyteller. Everyone has a story to tell. And your story is relevant to other people if there's a universal application to it. Now, I think there's a mystery behind the story of us who are watch obsessives. I don't think we figured it out. I don't think we're so shallow that we just want to stand on the street corner and show flashy jewelry on our wrist. I think there's something deeper than that. I thought I had it figured out because for 6 years I've been talking about watch obsession and watch addiction. I've been trying to tell my personal story about watches, and it's fascinating. Here I am 6 years later on YouTube, and I feel like I'm more confused, no less, about it than I did when I started the inquiry. I don't know why our well-being is partly defined by having a watch on our wrist that we're happy with, that, you know, checks all the boxes, does this, that, and the other thing. I mean, I understand it to a certain degree, but not the intensity, the degree, the pervasiveness, the 24/7 obsession about it. I mean, look, man, if you're going to buy a nice pair of desert boots or Chewbacca's or whatever they're called, you know, I get it, man. You're going to do some research and buy a nice pair of Chewbacca's and then you're done. With us watch dudes, we're beyond that, man. We're unboxing, we're doing reviews of the watch, we're doing long-term reviews, we're doing lume comparisons. It's almost like we're NASA researchers, and we got to make sure the gaskets are good on the rocket before it flies to Mars, man. We're very high stakes about it, and I haven't figured it out. So I think we're all storytellers. I think you have a story to tell. One thing I would do, regardless of your age, I would keep a journal. I would write in it every day. Walter Mosley told Larry Wilmore's podcast a couple weeks ago, you need to write every day. And he said something that I know from experience to be true. When you write something every day, it takes a life of its own. And that's a good thing, because once it takes a life of its own, it becomes material or content that you can engage with. And engagement's really huge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm out of this joint. Gonna make breakfast for my daughters. YouTube is a young man's game, but if you're in my generation, don't give up. Stay engaged. Tell me what you think. All right, until next time, I'm out.